From UFOs to psychic powers and government conspiracies, history is riddled with unexplained events. You can turn back now or learn the stuff they don't want you to know. A production of iHeartRadio.
Hello, welcome back to the show. My name is Matt.
My name is Noel.
They call me Ben. We're joined as always with our super producer, Dylan, the Tennessee pal Fagan. Most importantly, you are you. You are here. That makes this the stuff they don't want you to know. If you are listening to our program for listener mail, the evening it publishes, welcome to Thursday, October 10th. Now, we're recording this on October 7th. So by the time you hear this, we'll be at sea and we'll be singing the same chant we always sing during listener mail. When we say Ruda, you say
sea shanty?
Begas!
Begas. When we say Ruda, you say Begas.
We'll have to work that out when we're at sea. We gotta do a sea shanty.
My attempt for a rutabaga call and response cheer did not work, but luckily,
yes, it did. It totally did.
But luckily, we'll workshop it. And I love the sea shanty idea. Luckily, we've got none other than Tennessee's own Dylan Fagan with some breaking rutabaga news.
Welcome back, everybody, to a beautiful crisp fall evening. It's the perfect night for a World Series opener between the Rochester Rutabagas and the Toledo Turnips, two expansion teams named after America's newfound root vegetable craze. We're here in Rochester, and crowd favorite Peter the Parsnip Paxson is up to bat. Gadunkus throws a fastball, and wow, look at that baby fly. Woo! Wait a minute. The ball just fell straight down. How's that even possible? Uh-oh. Looks like it really made a crater. Well, folks, the field crew is coming to dig this one up, so we'll be right back.
Poetry.
One of the crater.
One of the fastest growing teams in all of the IGU league.
I cannot wait for the compilation. Just all of these together strung in this way that tells you the story.
We'll have to press them on a record store day exclusive, like colored vinyl.
Love it. If you like that kind of stuff, check out that weird episode we did years ago, which was just back to back with very little explanation ads from our parent company, IGU. We've got so much stuff to get to here, guys. I know there are a lot of things we've heard from you, our fellow conspiracy realists, that really spoke to us in various ways, a little bit of breaking news of our own. And we asked a question previously, I believe it was either listener mail or strange news, asking about the inner workings of tobacco companies. Wait, was that an episode? What was that? Where did we mention it? Was recently?
I mean, it's always been something that I've been curious about. And until we got this incredible email that we're going to read, I really hadn't given it too much thought in terms of like, what's it like actually on the inside?
We posed the question of whether or not we think you can smoke in those big tobacco companies, right?
I was asking if it's like, can you drink beer at the beer factory?
Totally.
Can you smoke inside RJ Reynolds or whatever they're called?
I must
don't
have been
know
away
the
for
context.
that.
It was Atlas Network.
Aha!
That's when I was asking, because they put so much money into, or they get so much money from big tobacco for things like vapes. And what was that PR company, Red Flag, that worked with them on their Vapors Unite?
They need a PR
group
company to help them workshop that name.
No kidding. Yeah. All right, we'll take a quick break for a word from our sponsors, and then we'll dive in or light up.
And we've returned with an email that I think was fascinating to all of us. I can't quite remember that conversation in the Atlas episode, but like my grandfather was a tobacco guy from North Carolina and worked for Pall Mall and all this stuff and had, stock in the tobacco companies. Something that was always kind of talked about in my household. So I guess I never really gave too much thought about what the inner workings of the offices or even the manufacturing of tobacco was like, which is weird considering that it was around me all the time and I never really thought about it. But this email that we've got from our buddy Nemesis absolutely cracks this wide open in a way that is kind of mind-blowing to me and answers the question that you guys were talking about from the Atlas episode. I'm just going to jump right in. Dear esteemed gentlemen, this is so kind, gods of podcasting and champions of conspiracy. That deserves an hoorah right there, or a chant, or a sea shanty. Wonderful. Very, very kind, Nemesis. In the recent episode, you wondered if tobacco companies were compliant with anti-smoking legislation. Having worked for years in a past life as an IT contractor at the head offices for both Philip Morris, PMI as he refers to it, Philip Morris International, and BAT, British American Tobacco, I can confirm that both are highly compliant, due, no doubt, to the level of regulation and legislation and the auditing that takes place. Prior to working for these organizations, I had only worked in places where smoking was only allowed in designated smoking rooms or outside areas. Therefore, my first day at PMI in Lawson, Sweden, was a bit of a culture shock. I presented myself at reception, and after being inducted, I was asked how I would like my cigarettes. Like, you wanted it all fives? You wanted
over
Lucy's?
Easy, scrambled?
It's amazing. It's an amazing question. And I immediately, when I heard this, just like I was stopped in my tracks. I'm sorry, what do you mean? And I think he clearly felt the same way. Apparently, every employee was allocated a 10-pack carton of their preferred brand every month.
Wow.
That is wild. I guess it's also kind of wild that these companies even still exist, but that's a whole nother conversation. Fortunately, it was a modern building with good HVAC. So think like a really high-end, nice casino, like how they still allow smoking on casino floors, and yet somehow the places, the good ones anyway, don't entirely stink like cigarettes. And they've got some crazy filtration systems in there, and they must be rocking something like that at Philip Morris as well. Fortunately, it was a modern building with good HVAC, and there were smoking and non-smoking offices. Even so, as a non-smoker, seeing someone chain smoking through 60 a day, as in having to empty their ashtray more than once a day, is a surreal experience. This was in 2006 when Switzerland was just beginning to introduce smoking restrictions. Smoking on trains had just been banned. Smoking is still very common in Switzerland. My next contract in 2007 was for BAT in London, UK. Smoking restrictions were already in place, so there was no in-office smoking, only in designated outdoor areas. The CEO, however, had his own private rooftop area, presumably so that business could still be conducted privately while smoking.
Nemesis, this is the part that was really interesting to me. I mean, you just led such a fascinating life, and
So
this
cool.
smoky backroom door,
Literally.
room by
How are they
10,
going to be
like the
smoky if you
back
can't
roof.
smoke in them?
Right.
It's
The smoky rooftop makes so much more sense because that's when you crack the big deals with politicos and so on. Anyway, that's just interjecting, but yes,
No, it's
this
great.
this is the juice. This is the vape
totally
juice
the
right
juice.
here.
And Ben, I'll just add too. I think you and I have both been to some corporate headquarters of like some non-cigarette brands, like food and beverage, and various travels over the years doing stuff for iHeart. And I think you'll remember one we went to where like you're not allowed to bring in any outside food or beverage that isn't the brand of that company. Like they're mega serious about that. And it would appear that the tobacco companies treat you the same way. They want you to smoke them if you got them, but they better be the house brand,
Right.
at least under that umbrella.
Like how I believe it was Ford, but the anecdote I heard back in the car stuff days was that one of the big three car companies had fired employees who dared to drive to work in, a Subaru or something. Because it had to be a Ford car or nothing.
Right.
So it makes sense that, a
does.
private company can do that. So, Matt, what do you got?
Well, I just like the idea that you could keep an eye on the British American Tobacco building, and if you see smoke coming from the rooftop area, you know the deals are going
It's
down.
like the Pope, man.
That's
Yes.
nice. Yeah.
That's incredible. You know the deal got made. You know there might be a big merger on the horizon.
Or something bad's on the horizon,
That's
right?
also
Because
true.
why is he up there chain smoking?
Well,
Oh,
yeah, it
God.
depends on the length and the color and
Right.
the breadth of the smoke. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this next bit is great, Ben. And this I think really appeals to all of our How Stuff Works brains. So although it's unlikely, if you ever get the chance to see a cigarette manufacturing machine in operation, do so, as the fastest machines can operate in excess of 10,000 cigarettes per minute. That's mind blowing.
Which is, it's crazy. Like, how many people smoke and how much smoke do they consume? 10,000. So
the scale of it. Yeah.
I don't even want to do the cocktail math. My lungs are frightened.
That's a lot of coffin nails right there.
How could it possibly go that fast?
I don't understand it either. And maybe he's being hyperbolic here, but he seems like he's in the know. So I will give the benefit of the doubt to Nemesis here. And I would love to do a little digging. Do you think they made a how it's made on cigarettes? Or is that
sure?
They must have.
Something like that. Absolutely.
But, as a fan of rolling certain types of things, and like being, like there's a precision to rolling. Like I was just in Europe near Switzerland, actually, where everyone rolls their own cigarettes. And just to be able to do that, like there's freehanding that, it's like so fascinating. So to see it done like with, industrial equipment would be a treat. So while you can imagine a metal part or something solid being made at this rate, for something as delicate as a cigarette, it's staggering. Just in terms of like the precision of the machinery, I think is what he means. And I would agree.
Fragility of the paper,
Absolutely. No, it's wild. Also, smoking is really bad, and it's something I've struggled with in the past, and it is definitely wild to me that they are churning out this many cigarettes. And I will say, too, speaking of being in Europe, and I know you guys know this, and I'm sure most people out in the audience do, but I will never get over the macabre images that are printed on European cigarette packs. Like, there's a woman coughing up blood and or like a withered fetus,
missing teeth, pictures
and
of
limbs,
desiccated lungs.
Yeah.
My favorite version of that, which we may have mentioned here on Ridiculous History, is the Korean version where it's two parents, sort of like Looney Tunes. You can just see them from the waist down.
Right.
And they're arguing and there's smoke everywhere. And in the middle, there's this hapless little heartbroken child just staring at you as you pull out a cigarette.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty effective,
Well, yeah, it is, but also still a lot of people smoke in Europe and Asia still.
Oh yes, very much so.
Incredibly popular, which is, I guess, why it hasn't made it over here, because I think we're experiencing a bit of a combustible tobacco decline here in the United States.
The rise of the vapes.
I think that's right. But in other countries, it doesn't seem to be the case. So I'd have to look into the stats to make sure and compare. As always, if this is deemed sufficiently interesting, which, boy, was it ever, Nemesis, I'm happy for it to be broadcast. Best regards, Nemesis. And then he had a PS that I know caught your eye, Ben, about another rabbit hole that's really a topic for another day. But this link to a BBC Science in Action podcast, as well as an article about a satellite jamming GPS signals, which is very relevant to what we were just talking about in our Strava episode. I always wonder, Ben, if you'd read anything about that or what that might look like, maybe given that topic, and how GPS-y we've become. To what end,
Matt and I are both super into this because of the mystery drone activity that's occurring concurrently, like shutting down the Munich airport right around, I think shortly after the time you were there, maybe right before. And it's I
was in Munich.
Yeah, it's too real out here to be scared. But the that is an excellent rabbit hole. And the idea now with asymmetric warfare, to your point, Nemesis, the idea now is that it is easier than ever before and more affordable than ever before to get up to some real hijinks against state-level actors, especially in a regional area. So I do think that bears an episode. That podcast recommendation is great. So anybody who's interested in learning more, do check out the BBC. They do great work. I know they're not perfect, especially when they're supposed to report about the royal family, but they're doing their best, and they're really solid journalists.
Y'all, yes, excellent points. And thank you again, Nemesis. Just to close up, I just wanted to mention a story that I just heard about the other day that kind of seems to tick both boxes that this story that Nemesis brought us represents. 25 small hot air balloons carrying smuggled cigarettes were found their way into Lithuanian airspace this past week and forced the airport to shut down, delaying flights for many hours. It would appear that these balloons interfere with more than 30 flights, impacting around 6,000 passengers. And it's just, what a way to smuggle something. It seems so imprecise and just like it was very, very interesting. And to your point about being able to get up in that airspace now with consumer grade equipment, this speaks to that as well.
And I love that you're pointing out the headline, find their way, because that's the perfect way to describe the passage of a hot air balloon. They're largely at the mercy of wind currents. You can get some direction, but they're not straight up dirigibles, which I miss.
Which was a big feature, as we talked about while I was away at texting, of one of the areas that I was hanging out in Germany that apparently was the home of the Zeppelin. There was like this Zeppelin museum in this city called Meersburg. And there were amazing Zeppelins all around. Super, super cool. But yeah, why would they use balloons? Like, they're not drones. It says here in the article, Belarusian smugglers are increasingly using hot air balloons as a cost-effective alternative to drones for cigarette smuggling, which presumably, Matt and Ben, they would just be trying to avoid taxes. It's not like what's the benefit of black market? I guess that's mainly it. That's where they
taxes, possible tariffs. There might be some sanctions theoretically, but not in that part. Not between those two countries for cigarettes. They're just trying to sell those loosies without the tax man taking their vig.
And it would appear that 966 separate hot air balloons have been intercepted by Lithuanian authorities from Belarus. That's crazy.
I wonder if they're tinier balloons.
Well, if you look at the image, you can kind of see they do appear to be a bit smaller.
Are they unmanned?
They gotta be. They have to be.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Let's see. Various locations, especially at the airport. Balloons were determined to be criminal smuggling. I don't see anything in this article as to whether they're manned or unmanned, but the article does make a good point. 2 balloons flew directly over Vilnius airport, with more than 24 reaching the wider Vilnius county area.
They're weather balloons.
They are? You got
They're
it.
huge weather balloons.
I'm sorry, I see it now. There's a picture at the bottom. They are unmanned, and they're these massive teardrop-shaped, like rubbery-looking weather balloons. You're 100% right.
Kind of similar to what we sent over the Korean border.
That's true. Another reason why this story is relevant and fascinating. So, well, sorry to stray it too far from Nemesis's email, but I just thought this checked a few fun boxes. So, thanks again, Nemesis. We're going to take a break, hear a word from our sponsor, and then we'll be back with more messages from you.
And we've returned. Guys, I'm looking on Amazon at, quote, professional weather balloon for meteorological investigation, aerial video, holiday party decoration, entertainment toys, huge balloons.
Nice. Thank you, Timu.
What are we talking here? Can we guess? I'm thinking $200.
I'm looking at a 72-inch, 100-gram weather balloon for $15.99.
Wow.
You can get huge ones, though.
Sure.
Oh, this one's 1,000 grams, and it's $109.
Okay. That's wild.
I'm really glad that they're... I love when Amazon products name absolutely everything you could possibly want for the product in the title.
I also love it when it's clearly a niche thing. Like it's a devil costume or something. It says devil costume for Halloween, Easter, Christmas, bar mitzvah,
gender reveal parties,
first driver's license.
Oh, I just searched for devil costume, Ben, and I'm looking at so many titles that are exactly that.
Yeah. I've got one coming. That is the one that can get here tomorrow.
Nice.
Thing. It's like the one Jason Sudeikis rocked on SNL.
I love a good classic devil costume.
So good. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. Dude, SNL has been pretty great lately. Okay, guys, we got a call from a mystery person, and they've got a cryptic message that I can't figure out. Maybe we can work on it together, or maybe you out there listening, maybe you understand what this is. So let's begin.
Hey, the lasagna quesadilla is under the rutabagas. I repeat, the lasagna quesadilla is under the rutabagas.
Okay. Anything, guys? Any ideas?
Ben, how do you feel about a lasagna quesadilla? Is that like putting a hat on a hat, kind of, or what do you think?
I love it. Mystery caller, message received. We're go. We're green.
We're go. All right. How did it get under the rutabagas, though? That's my question.
Now, are we talking placed underneath a dug up rutabaga, or buried beneath the buried rutabaga in the cold ground?
Because then you'd have to, I like the Tom Waits reference, because then you'd have to rebury the rutabaga.
Wait
if this were not clearly a number station level code, again, we are 5x5. We're green. Proceed.
Can we also just say that rebury the rutabagas should be a code like that you would say across? Repeat, we rebury the rutabagas.
guys, I think it's even deeper than all this. I think the reason why we are so obsessed on this show with digging up rutabagas is because we have to get to the lasagna burrito / what
that's
was
the
it?
pearl of truth.
Quesadilla.
Yeah, that's what you got to get at. That's what we're always striving for, is the lasagna quesadilla.
If you have ricotta in the quesadilla and you cut it into fourths and you layer it atop itself, then is that not functionally lasagna?
I was going to say, because I mean, the tortilla on the outer layer, it's just another layer. It's not noodle though, but it's noodle-like. They're both, flour.
Wait a minute. Going off of your burrito invention, Ben, what if it's fazania?
I like it. We gotta, the technology's not there yet, just like the Frito, but thank you to the people who wrote in and called about the Frito idea. I think there were a couple folks who really want to get on the ground floor. The research continues. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Every time you don't hear us live on the air, folks picture us in our lab coats, which we do have. I don't know why I said it that way. And
I got a pretty sick apron. And
we're titrating and other chemical words for our Fritos.
Beautiful.
What is a Frito again? I think I might have been out when you talked about this.
I won't shut up about it. It's been an obsession for a while. It's a note I found from past me hidden in the back of a freezer.
It's ringing the bell.
Said, Frito, pho plus burrito, tell no one. And so I've been working on it for a while in semi-secret.
You could just do, I think when people hear pho in a burrito, they think impossible because you have to have the broth. But you could just think of the amazing toppings that go in the pho, and you wrap that up in a burrito with the nice thin beef, maybe, the flank. That makes a lot of sense.
Or you could marinate it, or you could look. We know the technology is there because of the precedent of the soup dumpling, so all is not lost.
The noodles could take the place of the rice. You could do noodles that are sort of sautéed, but not like sopping wet. And Ben, this is brilliant.
In 2016, Spoon University wrote an article about how to successfully make a pho-rito at home. We actually can do this. There are recipes.
I am familiar with the work of Spoon University, though I do not respect them.
Well, it looks really good.
We don't have time to get into it.
Okay, understood.
But it is really good. I'm kidding. Of course, respect their work. Every invention is the result of multiple people across the world. Right?
Absolutely. It's just, it looks like, I don't think we can purchase one. So we need to find a way to make them monetizable.
Maybe we can repurpose a cigarette machine to make burritos.
I like a mini burrito
because it's going to be delicate, like a cigarette.
We could sell it as a quit smoking aid.
Yes, like a little tornado, like one of those like a thinly rolled burrito.
Yeah.
Frozen burritos in the freezer section.
Frozen burritos for all.
We got this. All
and you buy them. They're about the size of a pack of cigarettes. You buy them in packs of 20.
Yeah.
And then, you can also use self-heating technology, like those sick bento boxes in Japan, where you just get a little thing.
But I can use the context clues. That sounds amazing.
Wait, Ben, you're describing our other product, the Fakito.
The Fakito, yes. The Fakito, we have a whole product line that is technically pun-based. However, we stand by it. I almost went into the accent of that guy, and I think you should leave. And I stand by it.
Look, we're being entirely too silly, guys. We need to get to something super serious now.
I don't know, Matt. You promised us further silliness off air, so I think you might be doing a bait and switch.
Thank you to IGU for Ritos and more. Let's get super serious, Matt, like you were saying.
Super serious. Let's jump to our episode on the Kaikōura lights. It's been a while since we put that one out, but that one is still in the back of all of our minds, I'm sure. It was just one of those episodes so mysterious. It just makes you go, what could this have been? Well, I think we might have an answer from Chef Tui. That's not the name you called in with, but we are going to call you Chef Tui for this with an important piece of insight. Here we go.
Fellas, good morning. It is a beautiful Monday in Chicago. This is Chef Ben. Just wanted to let you know, I know what the Kaikōura lights are. They are Imperial probe droids sent to this planet on a regular basis to keep an eye on the descendants of a clone who went AWOL and settled on this planet. Here's how I know this. I agree that accent that they have in New Zealand is delightful. Wonderful accent. It's not a New Zealand accent. It's Mandalorian. It's an accent that has been passed down generationally from Jango Fett, who was the original progenitor of all of the clones. There's documentation in the Clone Wars of clones going AWOL and just laying their weapons down. Man, they'd had enough. They were tired. They decided they wanted to just settle on a planet, have kids. P.S. If I was making a clone army, I would make it sterile, but that's just me. And these clones just lived their lives. They just said, you know what, I'm done. I'm done fighting for the Empire. I was fighting for the Republic, and that was honorable, and now it's turned into the Empire, and I can't support this. If you look at the wonderful documentary about the indigenous people in that whole Polynesian kind of area, Moana, her father has that same Mandalorian accent, and I believe is directly descended from an escaped clone, somebody who went AWOL, left the war, settled on this planet. And so that area of the world, I'm sure, is under Imperial observation, on the regular, to make sure that the clones and the descendants of the clones are not going to pose any sort of a threat to the greater galaxy. As long as we're planet bound here, we're actually fine. The Imperial probe droids will just keep an eye on us and make sure that we're not planning any sort of an uprising. Look, I'm just blowing the lid right off of this. I'll be the truth teller in this. Thanks for everything you guys do. Take care.
Thanks for your service, Chef.
Incredible.
I'm persuaded.
I can only imagine some of the messages we're going to get from them.
Also,
spawned from that message.
I mean, given the Disney of it all, it does make sense that these universes would be bound. Moana and Star Wars and all that. I want to see the official crossover where all of this stuff is fully realized.
All things arise must converge. Yeah, it's going to happen. I mean, the money is just the money is too present and too possible. Also, statistically, for any naysayers, fellow conspiracy realists in the crowd, keep in mind there were a lot of clones in the Clone Wars.
There sure were. Like a whole army of them, in fact.
So it's not like the Jedi. It's not like they're just a few comparatively to the size of the galaxy. There were tons of clones. So who knows where they ended up?
Did either of you finish watching that Alien Earth series on Hulu?
I don't want to be a downer.
It got bad. Oh, it's bad.
I got to the second episode and I was like, oh, okay, what are we doing here?
It's
guys?
real odd.
I haven't checked it out.
I was on board for about maybe 3 episodes, and then I just wanted to see it through. But it gets real oddly not good. But the Disney of it all, too, this was a Disney production, and there's these weird, kind of forced tie-ins with Peter Pan and also Ice Age, the movie. And it's just you could make one argument that Noah Hawley is doing it as this kind of grounding force in the world of the show, but it feels like a Disney tie-in where they're maybe people will be reminded to go stream the original Peter Pan because of this or watch Ice Age, the movie.
Yeah.
It's super weird.
Yeah. Who's the actor that plays the brother?
He's not good in this. I like him. He was in
know.
a really good episode of Black Mirror called Shut Up and Dance. The one where he's getting trolled by this this emoji, laughing kind of cringe face thing. He's excellent in that.
That's the thing. I really like him.
And the other guy was in Black Mirror too. He was in the one about the Lock Henry,
I just don't know what's happening. I just don't understand whatever is happening in that show because there's all of the pieces seem incredible. Anyway.
Agreed. I just wanted to bring it up because of the Disney tie-in, but
back to the Mandalorian, okay? Because that's what's important here, because we're talking about the Kaikōura lights and these probes, these dang probes that are keeping an eye on us. Well, some of us don't like having an eye kept on us, so we need to find a way. I don't know. It's a wonderfully silly message, and we do appreciate it, Chef Ben, your actual name. And we've got one more message here before we move on to our next segment. This message was going to be in last week's listener mail episode, but we had to cut it for time. And just giving you the credit here, Ben, you discovered this, and this is some really important news, biological news. We're always interested when there's news about corvids, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is up there with the Mandalorian revelations.
Mm-hmm. It really is.
Hey guys, this is Salmon Hands. Big fan of the show. I just wanted to call and share with you all this news story that I saw, and as a biologist, I found it quite concerning. But anyway, apparently crows across the United States have lost the ability to communicate, and scientists are frantically trying to find the cause. I'll see myself out.
No, stay. You're in the right place, Sam and Hans.
I was in it, man.
I know.
I was fully taken. Delivery.
I was there.
Yeah.
There's a teeny tiny cat meow at the end of that. I'm gonna play the very end one every time. It's so great. It made me laugh out loud while I was sitting here putting it in the system. Here we go.
I'll see myself out.
I love it.
Punctuation.
Question for Dr. Venkman. Did you go to that guy's house and force him to write that joke?
No, the only thing that forced him to write that joke was the spirit of pure inspiration.
Hang on, you can't plead the fifth. You're a cat.
Yeah.
All right, Hannibal Lecter over here.
We appreciated that so much.
Yes.
Yes. What a joy.
And go ahead and try that one out on your friends and family. That seems like a great joke.
It's almost like to the level of like Norm Macdonald anti-humor, where it's just so deadpan and straight. You're almost along for the ride, and then I almost missed the pun. I almost missed the punchline, but then I realized that he stopped and he wasn't actually telling me more about this research, and that there must be something amiss.
And we got a lot of we got a lot of jokes and jocularity in recent correspondence, which we'll probably get to later on today.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It also just seemed like something that totally could be true.
Right.
I'm sorry. It's like colony collapse or something, you know? Like,
yeah.
If retelling, I would add a couple of parts in the middle there to support the thesis or the concept that the crows have lost communication, like some findings.
Yes, some sort of noise, perhaps. Like
they're not responding to calls from other animals or birds, like their enemies, the owls or human researchers.
Ultra specific. Right. And then finally,
go into the New Caledonian crows specifically, different crow populations.
Still trying to find the cause. This is amazing. That's very good. Oh my goodness, that makes me happy.
Well, we have a ton more amazing voicemails, so please keep sending those in. They're incredible. Y'all are hilarious. And I know we're just having mostly fun in this part of the episode, but there's some very serious things that you guys have been writing too. I think this is just part of our coming down from some of the serious topics we've been hitting.
This is a bit of a cleanse, yes.
It's okay. We may be doing that for the next 6 months.
And we appreciate it. Like, it truly is restorative when you write in with these things. So, call in, of course, yes.
You know what? We mentioned, I think, Ben, in our last listener mail episode, that Ozwoman called in about the Rutabaga Festival in Minnesota, this place called Askov. I think we mentioned it, but we didn't talk about it much. There is, just to remind everybody, a Rutabaga Festival that happens annually in Askov, Minnesota. That's ASKOV. And it happens in August. You can look it up. You can find a Facebook page about it.
Right.
And you can find these things that they specialize in there at the Rutabaga Festival called eberskivers. And these are delicious spherical pancakes of Danish descent. Incredible.
I like how you said of Danish descent.
Yes, that's where they arose, and that is where they continue to thrive, but they are now also in Minnesota.
Well, if you want to go, you better go ahead and ask off in advance.
Oh,
yeah,
my
love
gosh!
It. And Ozwoman, as you pointed out, I don't think we played it, but we did mention that in our previous weekly listener mail segment. You also noted that every town or village of any size in Minnesota has a specialized festival, and we would love to learn about all of those as well.
Minnesota State Fairs are famous.
Yeah.
Just for like all the weird fried stuff. And I mean, that is absolutely a specialty of that state.
I love it. I love the idea of any place that you can just, you can be driving on a state road, hopefully not an interstate. State roads are the better way to see the country. And then you pull over and someone's like, hey, welcome to our town. This weekend, we're entirely about cheese curds. Here's your hat. Here's your apron. Remember, the magic word is pasteurize.
Yes. Oh, here's some fried butter for the road.
Yeah.
Did I tell you guys about my recent cheese curd experience?
No, I know about the squash festival, but I didn't hear about the cheese curd thing.
Okay, so I attended a squash festival out in Wisconsin. Yeah. But flew into Minneapolis over there and drove through like Duluth, Minnesota and stuff.
Gorgeous, isn't it? I've been out to that part of the country.
I love it.
Incredible.
Great time of year too.
Oh yeah. And so we went to this festival where my girlfriend played a bunch of music. Then as we're leaving, we're like, oh, we're in Minnesota. We got to get some cheese curds. We asked around. There were only 2 restaurants basically on this route because we were in the middle of nowhere that had cheese curds. And the people were adamant, you go to this place because it's got the best cheese curds around.
It's like the Philly cheesesteak argument, right? Everyone's got their favorite. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So we went in. There's a ruckus going on there. Everybody's excited. There's just so much excitement in this tiny little place, right? It's filled up to the brim. Parking lot's filled. We go in there, we order some cheese curds. The kids love them. They're so good. Then as we're leaving, we're starting to notice like the cheese curds were amazing going down, but there's this weird like flavor, this weird taste. We see on the sign that we could not see from the side we were coming from the festival. They were having a little festival of their own.
Oh, yeah?
It was the annual testicle festival.
Oh, man.
And so they were cooking testicles, deep frying testicles all day long while we were at the squash festival. Mm-hmm. And then we got cheese curds cooked in what I'm assuming is the same testicle oil.
Yeah. Okay. The prairie oyster grease. Well, now you've had a culinary experience.
Would you eat a testicle, Matt?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Have you?
I have not, and I also truly don't know.
You haven't knowingly eaten a testicle.
Faced with one, and it looked interesting. Like I like liver. Yes. We all like odd things. It's not for everybody, but for some reason I imagine a testicle has a livery quality to it. I don't know why.
It's definitely, be kind of like eating other sorts of offal. For us, probably it's more a cultural moray thing rather than like a health concern. Yeah. I know bull penis is a delicacy in some places, and you know what? Not my jam. More bull penis for you folks.
For sure.
Yeah. Do you wear wigs? Have you worn wigs?
Will you? You wear wigs.
You guys remember that clip?
Are you kidding? It's the best thing of all time. The Lord of the Rings outtakes.
That's when you guys are like, did you eat testicles?
I was thinking also like McCarthy, Red Scare. The senator taps the mic. Yeah. Mr. Frederick, have you or will you ever eat bull testicles? Have you associated with people who consume bull testicles or with a bull that has testicles presently or in the past?
Would you eat my testicles?
That's a Hoover question. Exactly. That's a Herbert Hoover question. Yes.
All right, guys. I always think of like an oversized cherry tomato. You know the pop that you get with the cherry tomato? I have
to cut my cherry tomatoes because I don't like the pop. I don't want the pop.
The best part.
I don't like the pop.
You don't like the pop. More pop for us.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey. It depends on how you cook them.
No, raw in a salad. It's too poppy for me, so I slice them down the middle.
I'm pretty sure I ate sliced testicle or something.
Hell yeah, you did. I wouldn't put it past you.
We're done with this segment now.
I guess. Weird.
You're always eating interesting stuff when you're on the road. You're always like looking for the odd local delicacies. That's like a thing that you do.
This next break is going to be brought to you by Minnetonka Oysters.
Oh, yeah. Lake Minnetonka.
Cleanse yourself in the waters.
Yes. All right. We'll be right back with more messages from you.
And we have returned. As we said earlier, there's a lot of stuff that we're not going to get to in this week's listener mail segments. We're going to hold it for next week because we have so much more stuff. Oh, we should mention this, guys, before we get into our last act here. We are going to be running some classic episodes over about a week or so. We're really excited to share those with you. And primarily it's going to be, this is a weird sentence for us to say, primarily it's going to be because we are in international waters, right? We're on the high seas. So we want to make sure we can always create the best possible show for you. So we will be kind of on a break, but we're going to make it back to the United States. Business is normal. Don't worry, right?
And you'll have an episode from the high seas waiting for you in your podcast feed.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And we work pretty diligently as a team to strike the right balance of different episodes. We don't want one week to be entirely depressing. We don't want one week to feel entirely like meaningless, whimsical stuff, but we love it. We love all that. And when we did a really dark episode about snuff films, we asked you, our fellow conspiracy realist, and the most important part of the show, to if the spirit moved you, give us a little bit of a pick-me-up give us a little bit of a nice thing, some eye bleach, be that pet photos or terrible jokes. And as we teased previously there right before the break, you came through, folks. Thank you so much. So we thought at the end of this, we would share some of these responses. We're not going to get to all of them because we did receive a lot. How about we go with some jokes first? Does that sound good?
It does. We're already on a joke roll. Let's hear some more.
All right. The Shepherd says, bonjour, stuff guys. Let me do a different voice. Bonjour, stuff guys. Boy, that Snuff movie episode was a rough one to get through, but towards the end, Sir Ben, wow, okay, thank you, invited us all to offer some jokes to lighten the mood. Here's my offering. Why should you never fart in an elevator?
Something about lift? I don't know.
You're so close.
Levels.
Because it is wrong on so many levels.
There you go. Gotcha.
All the best,
okay.
The Shepherd. Thank you, The Shepherd. And then we have Kyle. We're going to call you Sir Kyle. We'll call you Baron Kyle. Baron Kyle writes in and says, hey boys, first time, long time. Cool. Big fan of the show and have been for years. Just listened to the Snuff film episode and heard you guys ask for a little pick-me-up after such heavy subject matter. So here's a joke I believe I made up myself, but very well could exist already. I came up with it after an older friend of mine told me that her father was a police officer who had to retire when he got dementia. Stand-up voice. A police officer with dementia called me over the other day. He comes up to the window and says, do you know why I pulled you over? Oof.
Oh, dear.
Get it? Because he has...
Oh, yeah. Okay. I get it. It's kind of sad. Kind of a sad joke. I feel bad for that. I feel bad for that cop.
Yeah, it is one. It's a pretty sad one. So here's a lighter one. Kevin from St. Louis writes in and says, hey, gang, I'm listening to yesterday's Stuff They Don't Want You to Know podcast about snuff films, and it's some real heavy Thanks for the beep, Dylan. I'm writing to answer your call to lighten the mood with my favorite joke. What's the difference between roast beef and pea soup? Anybody can roast beef.
That's true. Peeing soup would be a real superpower.
God, that'd be amazing. What would you guys
so
pee?
gross. Oh, no. See, I'm thinking peeing pea soup. So it would be green in my imagining of this.
It
can be any
What soup would it be?
French
it
onion.
could be any kind of soup. Tell us your favorite
French onion?
soup
That
to
would get
pee.
stuck. I don't
know. You'd have to be careful for something with
It'd have to
bits
be a
in it,
smooth
like
soup.
barley soup.
Yeah.
Obviously, Kevin from St. Louis.
No risotto. It'd be like kidney stones.
No risotto. The answer is pho.
Oh,
the answer is clearly pho.
Yeah. Straight up 3-bean chili.
Oh gosh, a goulash.
Horrific, y'all.
Just straight up gazpacho.
Give me more snuff films,
That'd
man. This is rough.
Kevin says, well, that's just good. I didn't write these. So
I'm just talking about passing large objects through our penis holes.
Yes. I hope that brought the mood up a bit, says Kevin, and thank you. I think it did. Thank you for all that you do. Keep up the good work. And then we've got some more that are a little bit more... gosh, we got so many great pet pictures. Shout out to Ghost Rock Heart and Penny, the newest addition to their family. Shout out to longtime listener Blue Skies, who sent us multiple pictures of her cat looking astonished, looking just dumbly surprised, not guilty, the way cats often look, but looking like, you know what he looks like in this picture? He looks like that guy who got caught hugging the lady at the Coldplay concert.
Oh, yeah. The deer in headlights look. Classic.
Yeah, deer in headlights, exactly, but like a Nibelung.
I got an Apollo here somewhere, y'all. I think he's kind of curled up in a corner. He's so tiny I can't find him, but he's here in spirit.
Awesome. Shout out to Apollo, Meadow, Dr. Venkman, and of course, the cat with 1,000 names. So we've got another letter from Chesapeake. We're just running through these quickly.
That's a great name.
Right? Chesapeake, you said, hi, fellas. I finished the Snuff Films episode and wanted to send some good news your way, some very hopeful climate news. I've been trying to balance out my feed with hopeful stuff, and this has really been helping me. And you know what? Chesapeake, been doing the same, and I think all of us in our own ways. Here's the good news that you sent us from Good Co. The United Nations confirmed that the ozone layer is on track to make a full recovery by mid-century thanks to international action.
Well, that's great news. But
isn't that great?
What about all the deregulation? Is that going to set us back?
That's the question. It's on track. It's not done. But that big.
No, that's amazing. That's that's one of the best headlines I've heard in weeks.
That's awesome. Great. Yeah, because we were all around at some level when people were worried about that big atmospheric butthole over the South Pole, just the missing area where the ozone should be and how depleted it was. And luckily, collective action on a global level slowly but surely improved the situation.
Well, and I would say shout out to Greta Thunberg, who just got released as well, who is home safe after being detained in her protests in Gaza for Gaza and supplying aid. But she's always been a huge part of that discourse that you're talking about. You know,
yeah, agreed.
It's a bad rap, and people. I don't know. She's very divisive to some people, but I just think someone's got to scream that stuff from the rooftop.
Yeah, it's weird when someone's a public figure because sometimes you don't really understand the root to why someone dislikes them. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot to it. Also, shout out to the other members of the Gaza flotilla who have successfully secured their release. We're thinking of a lot of veterans from the U.S. Armed Forces.
100%.
Yeah. And also, Pikachu adds on a personal note that she's started volunteering with kittens and sent us some pictures of the kittens. That's awesome. You closed Pikachu with saying, it's cheesy, but a better world is possible, and things are bad, but aren't as out of hand as they seem. I don't know about the last part, Pikachu, but I think your four pals here can agree that, yes, a better world is possible, as cheesy or corny as it may sound. And I think we're unapologetically cheesy and corny. We're like that side dish at the Korean barbecue joint, the cheese corn.
The cheesy corn? Yes.
It's amazing. It's one of the best parts.
What a great idea.
We should go get cheesy corn.
We should go get Korean barbecue. That's a great group activity.
Yeah, that's an awesome one. We're actually going to do that later next week, too, or this weekend.
You're right. We literally booked. They have a Korean barbecue steakhouse on the Queen Mary. What's it called again? The Valiant Lady?
Yes, that's the Valiant Lady. We also got a great bit of trolling. Trolling is one of our favorite genres of affection. So thanks to the folks who sent us Photoshopped pictures of us. And they won't really translate the audio, but the day was made. We also want to give some time to a really thoughtful letter we got from a guy named Uncle Bosco. And Uncle Bosco is unfortunately speaking from some deep experience. He says, my heart goes out to you all. Delving into this stuff is quite simply detrimental to your wellness. Please don't do this kind of research because you feel you have an obligation to your listeners. I'm a huge fan of the show and of each of you individually, and I look forward to each and every episode you release. The reality is, as much as your listeners feel close to you, your only obligation is to your family, partners, and close friends. This kind of material damages people in ways that are very difficult or impossible to heal from. Your listeners should not take precedence over your ability to be whole people capable of fully participating in the lives of your loved ones. I've previously told you about this segment of my career when I was screening print, video, and audio media for obscenity, and the decades-long struggle I've had with PTSD because of this. My family, my wife, and my kids all lost out because I felt it was my obligation to keep doing that work for about 14 months. It was not worth it, and I regret that decision every day. You guys are amazing, and I truly value all your episodes and all the work you all pour into each one. I would hate to think you felt obligated to me and other listeners to literally put yourself in harm's way. So thank you very much there, Uncle Bosco. You also didn't leave us without a dope joke to step to. You said, here's a PG-rated Halloween-themed joke for you. Now, I haven't read this one fully, you guys. I thought we could explore it together on air. Here we go. Two bees decide to go trick-or-treating, and after much debate, they decided to dress up as ghosts. Off they set on their first trick-or-treating adventure. As they were approaching one house, they saw a group of wasps toilet paper a house, and they immediately decided to clean up the hooligan wasp's mess. The old praying mantis who lived in the house saw the whole thing, and when the two bees finished cleaning up and rang the doorbell, the old mantis opened the door and said, well, I've never seen such a nice pair of boobies before in all my years. There is not a clap slow enough.
It's true. Boobies. Spookies.
Yeah. It ends with Uncle Bosco. You end with, I hope you all are doing well. Thanks, man. If you struggle with flashbacks, please seek professional assistance. I'm a huge supporter of EMDR, as it was what finally got me on the road to recovery. Please take care of yourselves and each other. So,
what a thoughtful message.
Right. That's very thoughtful. And this is just a small slice of all of the people who have taken the time from your own day to reach out to us with a message that gives us a chuckle or that tells us to keep going. People have sent us very sincere correspondence with, just jokes aside, checking in, and always welcome to do that. We're grateful you're here. We're going to wrap in a moment, but before we do, we wanted to share a little bit of what we'll call a teaser message from our pal Steve. Steve, you say, "Hi, we're listeners on the show. We normally listen to you during drives in the car. It's the only podcast I can find that my girlfriend, my daughter, and I can agree on. Research and presentation is on point, able to keep our attention. I'll be on the cruise with my girlfriend as well as my parents, and looking forward to seeing and meeting you." Steve also has a little bit of a possible surprise while we're on board. And Steve, we'll maintain OPSEC. We don't want to blow up your spot, but we got your back, man. We can't wait to see what unfolds. Steve, you also mentioned the allegations about the Tartarian Empire. The Tartarian Empire, as we all remember, is something we explored in a previous episode. I can't remember how long ago, but do check out, well, you know what? Let's just find it. Our Tartarian Conspiracy episode came out around this time last year, or 2 years ago, guys, almost exactly 2 years ago to the day, on October 11th, 2023, we published the Tartarian Conspiracy. Do you guys remember that one?
I do not.
I do. I remember this very well. We found a bunch of video. We were sent a bunch of TikTok and Instagram videos. I actually shot a social Tartarian conspiracy video that we never published, guys, in New York City, because you can look around at a bunch of buildings and then find the modern ones, right? And then there's one old construction somewhere amongst them, and you go, "Oh, Tartarian construction."
Yeah. This is, that's a good point, because the Tartarian episode, which I think still holds up, unfortunately, it got weaponized by a lot of very bad faith actors, especially in the world of anti-Semitism. But at its heart, it's really a story about lost empires and architectural conspiracy. It's often called the QAnon of architecture. So if you want a neat deep dive that's a little off the beaten path of other conspiracies, do check out our episode on that.
It's like Atlantean. It's an alternate Atlantean Lemurian thing.
Yeah, exactly. Well said. It's all mudslides that bring about the end of that empire. And I remember in the episode we were trying to figure out where all the confusion originated from initially. And one of the best lines in that episode is, to put it bluntly, a lot of maps sucked at that time in history.
Accurate.
Limited maps.
Limited maps in both terms of availability and accuracy. So we are going to call it a day. We've got to pack for a trip. We've got to noctivigate. We're getting so close to the horizon and adventures ahead. We can't wait to hear from you. Thanks to everybody who gave us an email, hit us up online, gave us a call. We'll end with one last joke. Hey guys, why can't you tell kleptomaniacs metaphors? Because those folks take shit literally.
Oh,
all right.
Regular Amelia Bedelia's.
Thanks to Steve. Thanks to everyone who wrote to us post-Snuff Film. Thanks to Chef Tui. Thanks to Salmon Hands, Nemesis, Mystery Caller, and thanks to you for tuning in. With a big thanks to our super producer, Dylan Tennessee Pal Fagan. We'd love to have you on the show in future explorations. You can give us a call. You can always send us an email. You can always find us on the lines.
That's right. You can find us at the handle Conspiracy Stuff on Facebook with our Facebook group. Here's where it gets crazy. On X, FKA, Twitter, and on YouTube. You can also find us at the handle Conspiracy Stuff Show on Instagram and TikTok.
We have a phone number. It is 1-833-STDWYTK. when you call in, give yourself a cool nickname and let us know if we can use your name and message within your message. If you'd like to instead send us an email, you can do that. We are
the entities that read each piece of correspondence we receive. Be well aware, yet unafraid. Sometimes the void writes back. Thanks everybody who writes in to ask for a random fact. We'll give you one proactively right now, folks. The reason that no living political official nor president in the United States can have their face on the currency is entirely because of a Treasury official named Spencer Clark in 1866 who went wild and put his own face on the currency while he was in charge. Because Congress sent him a note that just said, put Clark on the bill. And they meant, of course, the famous Clark from Lewis and Clark, William Clark. But Spencer just ran with it. So that's why we can't have, Donald Trump or Barack Obama or Bill Clinton on the currency. So for that and more random knowledge, find us out here in the dark. Conspiracy at iHeartRadio.com.
Stuff They Don't Want You to Know is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.